In November last year, we had elections and started my campaign. I decided, I heard from the people how to campaign and who to campaign with, but I decided to do it on the ground, most of the times individually, because at the end of the day, people had to know the individual. And it was, for me, it was a difficult task because of language barriers, cultural barriers, and also political differences. So most of my constituents, or especially the informal areas, I was already known to some of them because I didn't start just now, engaging with the community. I've been involved with the Khomasdal residents for quite some time, especially last year, January, when we had the flash floods there in Ochemise. So for me, that Saturday evening, when I went on social media and I saw that, how many people lost their houses due to these floods, I had a choice to go to a function or to go to the people. So I decided to go to the people in Khomasdal, and I think that was one of the reasons that I decided that, what, I've always been thinking about going deep into politics, but I think that was the decisive point where the community was encouraging me and motivating me to become a councillor, or to stand for councillor. So, yeah, that was your question was, what was the meeting all about? It was to go back to my constituents to thank them for voting for me, to thank them for believing in me and for giving me the opportunity to serve them. And also just to introduce myself for those that didn't vote or that didn't register to vote, just to tell them that, I'm your councillor, I'm coming to you, I'm coming to listen to the issues that you're having, and the fact that there's not a lot of platforms where people or opportunities for them to air their concerns and for me it was basically just to go back to the people and thank them, and also just to show them and convince them, or not to convince them, to assure them of my commitment and my open door policy that I intend to have.
How was the turnout, and what was the general mood or the responses, Councillor, from the residents?
The turnout, we had 4 meetings because we had to make it official. So we also had to request the Khomasdal Regional Council to assist in this regard, and also to approve, because all the staff in Khomasdal and all constituency offices are working under the Khomasdal Regional Council. So you also had to get request permission from the Regional Council to allow us, to proceed with our planned programs. And we had 4 community meetings. We attempted to have more than 4. I think our initial intention was to have about 8 meetings, but then staff had to work overtime on weekends, because these meetings we could only do over the weekends. And we also had to now study on understand our constituents, because in Khomasdal proper, which we know as Old Khomasdal, we had to also look at our dynamics, because most people in Khomasdal, Old Khomasdal, because of previous experiences, we know that people don't like Sunday meetings. So in the informal areas, there's not really any given to a specific time for them to attend. But in Old Khomasdal, which has less residents, what you call it, it's not so congested as in the informal settlements now. We had meetings in Khomasdal, 1 meeting in Khomasdal, 1 meeting in Ochemise proper, and then 1 meeting in Khomasdal, and the last meeting in Astalan. The turnout in Ochemise and in Khomasdal proper was for the first time much better attended to previous attempts, according to our office, the staff that's been in the office, especially in the time of my predecessor. I think it's a good sign that more people attended these meetings. But in the Khomasdal and Astalan meetings, we had large crowds, and And I think the general the response from people was quite welcoming. I think I think most people were quite happy because some of them probably think it's far-fetched to see the councillor. I don't know where this is coming from, but if I talk to them, they're like, I'm so happy, and I'm like, but the office is open. Why don't you guys come to the office? It's your office, and I'm supposed to serve you, and that it shouldn't be difficult for you to come. There is no need for appointments unless there's a queue and it's long. Then you will probably have to schedule for the next day because we receive a lot of visitors on a daily basis. But I think the general feeling of the people was they happy that I came in the beginning of my tenure, and to the fact that I didn't most people what they would say now that he's in office he's not gonna come to us, but I think they were quite happy the fact that just after a month in office then I'm already on the ground and listening to them.
Councillor, what were the main concerns raised by these residents during the meetings? Can you also just enlighten us a little bit more on that?
I would say I've also explained, if you look at the responses on social platforms and Facebook especially, generally people still have a political connotation of things where they have different political affiliations, but as a councillor, there's no more politics involved. I was sworn in, voted by the Khomasdal constituents for the Khomasdal constituency, not by any individual or not with the intention to only be there for people that has the same political affiliation as myself. I am a constituency councillor for the entire Khomasdal constituency, for all 67,000 residents of Khomasdal. But the main concern, I think I had to make it clear because, like I mentioned, I don't want to take too much time. If you look at the type of questions people ask and where they tag me on things, occurrences and things on Facebook, is more municipal services. More people's concerns are more. They want land. They want to own land. They want the go ahead. They want ownership, land ownership. They want sanitation. They want electricity. Most of our queries from people is related to service delivery, municipal services. Like I said, water, electricity, sanitation, demarcation. Most people are asking, why can't we have our own piece of land where we can pay the municipality the same way we are paying now and renting now? We can pay that money and become the owner of that property eventually. Whether it's a house, whether it's a service land, we just need to have our own piece of land, which we can call our own home. And other than that was more school placements where there's a lot of children still not admitted in schools yet, and then other concerns like more social matters, which I would not want to air on live. I think there's more individual matters, private matters, but then also things like unemployment, things like food support, more elder people, coming with questions when are we receiving our increase in pension, those sorts of questions. But yeah, I think going forward, gradually people will also understand what is my mandate, and then I told them also I'm not gonna point finger or play a blame game with other stakeholders. I'm the constituency councillor, and I have to make sure that services are delivered in my constituency. That's basically what was asked.